Ladies and gentlemen, today's interview is my absolute privilege. I get to have a long form conversation with probably the king of the FaB community right now. And let me tell you, this is easily the most interesting man in FaB. Let's go. Welcome back to HometownTcg. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys know me. My name is Josh.
Oh, that's me. Hi, I'm Pheano Black. You're going to go on longer.
Dude, the eyebrows were sick. This has been fantastic. And we've been talking for like, what is it? It's probably been like 10 minutes now. I was like, why haven't I hit record? This has been sick. So go ahead, introduce yourself. Nobody in the Flesh and Blood community knows who you are right now. So go ahead, introduce yourself, dude.
Whoa. Don't check the FaB group. Everyone kind of the memes speak for themselves.
Dude, for days I would wake up and I'm just scrolling through my phone. I'm like, still? The
memes continue. Elmo fire.
So for those of you that have been, I don't know, living under a rock or just got introduced to FaB in the last 15 minutes, it's Pheano Black, right?
Yes, Pheano Black.
I never asked you. I just called you that, and I assumed you would have corrected me. Oh,
I'm honestly really surprised that all of the casters and everyone got it right on the first try, because no one ever gets it right. They're like Pheano, Pheano.
Dude, the casters are sick though. They do a great job. But anyway, Pheano Black is the second place finisher at the Calling Indianapolis. Had some famous plays, had a heck of a run. You're finally back on your feet. You're home. It's Friday, so you've had what, almost a week to unwind. How you feeling?
Pretty good. My place was as many counters I had on my tunic.
We're just gonna dive right, dude. I saw someone. So for those of you who don't know, there was Pheano Black he did miss a tunic counter trigger, and that's been the meme going around. Somebody offered to pay you to sign that tunic and buy it, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you're a cult classic. You are Reservoir Dogs of Flesh and Blood. Like, this is what you are now. You're like, the king is here. How's that feel?
Well, I wake up every day and I just aspire to be half the meme lord that LSV was in Magic. You're
on your way. You are on your way.
I've always aspired to that. Just LSV, I'm coming for you.
That's it.
I want him to say, I'm proud, son.
That's it. If we do a podcast, first guest is LSV, and you guys get to meme battle it out. You got to take some screenshots.
Yes.
Dude, you are just as sick in person as you are online. This is just so much fun for me.
I'm so sad. There was no audio. So first of all, there's no audio for my end, like the stream for the games.
Yeah.
And I was doing this the entire game too. I was just memeing in all of my games. I never stopped. Can't stop, won't stop. I was there to have fun.
Okay, so it sounds like you were there to have fun. Did that throw your opponents off? I'm getting ahead of myself. We're so far off base and what we want to talk about.
Let's go back to it. So I got second place to Calling.
Yes.
The whole meme started because it was a bit of a self-deprecating meme of I punted the game versus him. There was more punts than just the tunic counter. But that was the really easy one to point at, where I can be like, haha, funny memeist tunic counter, and people can meme the shit out of it.
Right.
I can't talk about, yeah, I lost the game because I pitched this here, so I needed it at 4 turns. Like a super deep sequencing type of thing. That's hard to be talk about, and people will be like, I understand this, average user on Facebook. But missing a tunic counter, haha, funny, haha, he's stupid. That's easy to meme up.
I think the reason for that too is you play the game at a different level, right? Like you play the game at the level most of us don't play the game at. Oh, I'm getting some feedback. I can hear myself in your microphone. Oh no.
Oh, sorry.
I know, you're fine. I don't sound that good. It wasn't a you thing. It was like, ugh, that's what I sound like. Oh God. What I think the difference is
well, I wasn't used to playing at that level either.
Right, but all of us can relate to missing a 2 to counter. Like we've all done it. most of us aren't good enough to think like the order of second cycle as things come around. That's something that you live in, but it probably wasn't always that
That
way for
wasn't a
you.
second cycle type of
Oh,
nitpick. It wasn't
sure.
a second cycle thing. It was like I needed like it was like I understand how I'm winning this game,
Mm-hmm.
so I need to set myself up for the next 4 turns for my win condition type of thing. Like
Okay.
real easy thing would be, okay, he's playing the build that is all about killing auras. He's trying to go action point, kill an aura, kill an aura.
Right.
Well, I understand that because he's on that build, he's not going slot machine all the time with the rainbow activation.
Right.
So he has a really hard time actually pushing damage. So he has a really hard time killing spectral shields.
Okay.
So because if I'm just like, here's a shitload of spectral shields, he goes, oh no. And what is he going to have, like a 3-card 5? I'm just going to block.
Right.
He can't effectively kill them without the right hand. And so my win condition is I set up a bunch of spectral shields. I stop caring about my auras. I throw them out every now and then as they're free. Oh, here's a blue aura at the end. I'll just play that because I don't care.
Sure.
But my plan is get a bunch of spectrals and then try to defend them. And then he can't get them off the board effectively. And I threw the game by like a couple sequencing errors of like I pitched or played the wrong cards, I arsenaled the wrong thing because of that, or didn't get an arsenal because of that, and it made it so I did not execute my plan in the matchup.
Okay.
But I was fucking tired. I was toast at that point. I was hitting the point of look at my hand. What's the play? I don't know what the play is anymore. My brain isn't functioning. I'm taking too long. I'm just gonna play cards. I'm just fall back on heuristics and just what uses my mana the most effectively. Just push cards. I can't think anymore.
So it sounds like you went the whole FaB journey, right? So you started in FaB, like you said, you made a comment earlier that says, I wasn't always prepared to play at this level, and now you're playing at this level, and then kind of in this last game you're like, and kind of lay it on the floor. Is that kind of how your journey in FaB like has been? How did you get started? Like where'd you start playing FaB?
So I got into the game a few weeks before Road to Nationals started. It was like 2 or 3 weeks before that started.
Wow,
what?
Really? That's much sooner. Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah. So it was like tail end of Monarch.
Okay.
They announced the end of the MPL that week in Magic, and then a few days later they announced the start of the Pro Tour, and I was like, I see you, FaB. I see you. And then the professor, I believe, made a video about FaB, and there was something else there of just like it. It was I think it was Channel Fireball. Maybe it was also Star City. I think it was just Channel Fireball. They said that they were picking up the game for tournament stuff eventually.
Yes, I think
just
Channel Fireball at the time.
All 3 of these things in the same like week, that just gave me so much legitimacy to the game of like, what is this about? I'll try it.
Right.
So go on TCG Player, get a brick of the starter decks, and I go play it with my homie. James Silver, he's the guy. He's actually in the background of your day 2 video of the call-in.
Dude,
he was the guy with the dreads behind you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He's the one that like I got into the game with. We built this deck with. I've always been playing with him. This was one of those moments of I may have gotten the placing, but this was kind of our journey together. So it could have just as easily been him.
Right. Dude, sick. Shout out James. And I didn't realize I had a celebrity in the video, so now I'm like pseudo famous. I'll take it.
And then so we got the starter decks. We finally got them in the mail, and then we played like 1 or 2 games with the starter decks, and then we just look at each other. So we're going deep on this, right? Okay, yeah, we're going deep on this game. Great.
First one's free, dude. First one's free. Then
You
gotta pay.
Bought 3 collections on Facebook, and then within the week there was this store. I don't know if you follow the marketplace group at all. There was a store that was fire selling boxes at like $50 a box, breaking map, aka
Yes.
Our Monarch boxes map, the other one's discounted. I don't really care.
You're just a consumer who wants to buy product, yeah. And you're like,
I get to buy product. And I hit buy.
Yeah.
So I bought, I think it was like 200 or 300 boxes or something silly. Yeah, I was just like, how many do you have?
Hold on. I'm stopping you there. You bought 200 or 300 boxes?
Did I not just say we're going deep?
Okay, deep. This is getting
Yeah.
clipped. This is getting clipped.
Later.
I'm gonna get wrecked. Deep for you is different than deep for most people, apparently. Holy
Go
smoke!
back on my Facebook. Check my last profile picture. It's a picture of me going, "Here's Johnny," through the boxes. There's just this tower of boxes, and I'm just bursting through them.
That is just insane. So you bought you bought all that product. How does it get to you when you buy all that product? Does it come in
It was shipped
singles
really
at a time,
weird.
or is it like one at a time? Does it all come at once? Like all of a sudden one day, is there like castle outside your place? Like
Yes.
so it all came on the
They
same day.
made their own box out of boxes to put it in. It was really fucking ghetto. And I just got these like 3 really flat but long boxes where it was just rows of boxes inside of it. I was like, what the fuck is this packaging? Whatever, I don't care. They're not damaged.
Was there any sealed cases or anything in there, or was it all just loose boxes?
I don't remember anymore, to be honest.
That's insane. So you got all that product. Did you and your buddy? You said is your buddy's name? What's your buddy's name? One more time for me.
James Silver.
James Silver. Did you and James just like get together and just crack it all?
It took us 2 or 3 days to open it all.
It's like a full-time job opening boxes. Dude,
I kind of buy and sell cards for a living, so this is just the norm for me. Shout out to my own store, Outside the Box Gaming. If you ever need to sell Flush and Blood cards, hit me up.
And you can find the link to that store in this video's description. Because I'm gonna slap that down.
So
dude, nice
yeah,
plug. Nice plug. You got this.
So then we did that. We it was like half Monarch, half WTR. So we got basically all of our staples minus Command and Conquer and Skullcap.
Okay.
I guess Art of War, but I've never even played a deck that wanted Art of War. And then we were like, okay, we got our decks. Now what? We don't have anyone to play with.
I just spent 3 days opening boxes. I finally have decks. And I just picture you and your buddy in the midst of this destruction. Wrappers, cardboard as far as the eye can see. And you both just look at each other and go, all right, now what?
Yes. So then we went around to like every single card shop that we could find in like the New England area that either said that they were doing the game or we knew the store. So we were like, would you like to do the game? Have you done the game? And just getting info. And we spent like a weekend or two just store hopping.
Okay.
And then we only found like a couple of small pockets of players. I don't want to specifically say anything about any stores because I don't want to say anything that I don't want to say, you know.
That's
but
fair.
like,
that's fair.
You know, some of them are good experiences, some of them are bad.
Sure.
One good experience that I had was where I met Joe from the Hyperloops. I met him at I think it was Alpha Omega. I don't quite remember the store anymore. I want to say it was that. Great store. And I had no idea who he was going into that. We hung out and we were playing some games. I was like, what do your cards do the entire time? Because I know exactly what my cards do, nothing else at this point.
Right. You're still technically a newer player at this point.
Yeah, it was like my second week of the game. I'm like, I don't know what anything does. I don't even know the rules yet.
Second week of the game, built a castle out of empty cardboard boxes. Got it. Go ahead.
And then we had a good time, hung out, made friends with him. Turned out that he knew some of my friends from other card games before. I was like, oh. And then we were talking, and we are like, yeah, we're going to try going to the roads to national season. I'm going to try to maybe top some of them. And he's just like, yeah, okay, new guy. And then he's like, well, I'm going to go get first place at all the ones I go to. And we're like, okay, tough guy. So then the next weekend, go to my first roads. This is my first time ever playing in a tournament, and I top 4 it. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Every game I'm saying, hey, can you tell me what your deck does and what your cards do? I'm sure they really appreciated that, but I don't know.
You don't go to time. People are pretty open to it. You're playing Prism at this thing?
Yes.
Okay.
And at this time, this was like really early on in the meta, where like the meta hadn't developed yet. There were no good Prism lists out there, so I just made my own.
Right.
I pretty much disagreed with like every single list I saw online, where I'm just like, this doesn't make sense. A lot of the things that people are doing in it, they're like, Vestige, it's bad, get it out. Tome of Divinity, 4 mana for 2 cards? Bad, get it out. And I'm just like, I don't know, these cards are kind of dumb. Draw 3 for 1 blue? In. Drawing cards is the best part of the game.
You and I see very similar in that. I told you about a pet deck list I have. I call it Card Draw Briar. You and I are just very in on drawing cards. There were kindred spirits in that fashion.
Oh, Mount Heroic, Force of Nature, Coax a Commotion. Oh, draw 2.
Have you ever pummeled a Pursuit of Knowledge?
Yes.
It feels
yes.
Good. It feels good, doesn't
at the road. At a Rhodes.
That is so
it was good.
Sick. Okay, so you kind of took a crash course. You top 8'd this. Did you win it, or you top 4'd the Road to Nats? Did you win any Road to Nats? Did you win one yourself?
No, but Joe won multiple of them, so he also lived up to what he was saying. This is Joe, one of the top players in the game. He was the guy that got top 8 at Calling Vegas.
That was a pretty big one.
Yeah, Fair. Great player.
Okay, so at this point, did you realize that okay, I can play? I went all in, and you did the first step, right? You took the first step by going all in, and I think for those watching, if you want to get into Fab and you want to go all in, and you don't buy a couple hundred boxes minimum, then you're not all in. You're not ready to go.
Casual.
No, you're just a casual. You're not ready to go to the call-in. Get good, scrub, I think is what we're looking for. But at that point,
you follow.
After you took the first step, and then you took the second step with this Road to Nats performance, is that when you started to realize you could play kind of amongst the top players in the world? You could kind of play with the best of them? Or were you still just kind of really? I'm enjoying myself?
I was just having fun with the game. Fun has always been number one.
Imagine that. It's a good game.
Yeah, I topped almost all the things that I went to, but that wasn't why I was going. I'm gonna go to top this. But I was just having fun with the game. I was making a lot of great friends. The community is so amazing around here. Everyone is so nice. And I was just enjoying hanging out with my friends. And it was nice getting to top. But it was really just this pays for food now when we go to hang out with the homies after the tournament. I didn't really care. I just wanted to hang out with everyone. Because everyone was so nice.
Yeah.
This is one of the best card games. Pokemon and this have been the 2 best card game communities I've ever interacted with. Pokemon also super wholesome. I was hanging out with some good players back then because there was also Cody Williams. I don't think I've ever played him, but Michael Fang is also in the area.
Okay.
Also Quinn. I'm spacing on his last name, but he's also one of the top. We have a lot of talent in the area, but back then. This is before anything had happened. Right. No one actually has a top yet. It's just us grinding out roads. Later on, Joe goes to top, and then Fang gets top, and all of them get to top.
Right.
But I didn't end up going to Vegas because I'm sitting here being I'm a fucking locals hero. I'm not gonna go to Vegas and do well. People are so significantly better than me at this game. I'm just gonna scrub out if I go.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. Hey, nothing wrong with scrubbing out. Hey.
That was me at Nationals.
That was me at everyone so far. Yeah.
You wanted my bad memory thing. we'll come back to that.
We'll come back. It's all content's a circle, dude. We'll be here.
And then after watching the tournament, I felt like I should have gone to that. I felt like I actually had a chance going into that, especially with Prism winning the whole thing.
Yep.
I was just like, oh, okay.
Did that amaze you?
I regret not going now.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but you're like a Prism guy, and you've played a lot of Prism, and I'm gonna lean on you for your expertise here. I was blown away, and again, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but Prism won this event. She won.
Yeah. What the fuck?
And then nobody.
Goddamn living legend status. What are you doing, my guy? Give it to Chain.
But then nobody else won. But then nobody else played it at the next calling. It was represented like 12% of the field. I'm like, what is happening? It just won. Wait,
wasn't the next calling after that the one at Nationals?
I think so.
Well, Briar meta.
I think Prism could. I was just frustrated to see Prism win and do well and be fun because I like playing her, and then see it just see it disappear. I was like, what, guys? Come on, what are we doing here?
I mean, I brought her to Nationals. That was not a good choice.
That was not the move. Let's call it not the move. So okay, so you're still kind of in your locals and you're coming across this game, but I want to focus on calling indie. right? So
Okay.
let's go. We're gonna go content creator magic wand because you're also a content creator. You're getting back into flesh and blood content. So let me teach you some stuff. We're gonna wave a magic wand and we're gonna fast forward in time and we're gonna go to your run at the Calling Indie. And I'm jealous because you still have coffee and I'm out. And we're gonna go to your
That's
run.
why I got the big one.
That's
You punted.
well, so did you. So
I never punt on this.
that's fair. So you go to the Calling Indie. What does your run look like? You sit down kind of day one. Are you still feeling like I'm king casual? Or are you feeling at this point when you sit down at Indie, you're like, I'm good, I'm ready to go?
Yes. So can I story time about the lead up to Indie a little bit?
Dude, what do you mean? This is
So I wasn't planning on going to Indie at all. So
everyone you just knocked out of the tournament, just like single tier, by the way, just so you know. Everyone that you gate kept, single tier.
There's going to be a second tier. There's going to be a second tier. Don't worry, it gets worse. So during the ProQuest season, I went into the ProQuest season not expecting to get the first place invite from anything. I was like, I'm going to top everything, maybe, because I've been playing consistently. That's the hope. I did top 8 all 6 that I went to, which was great, but I did not win any of them. But I went in going, if things do not go as planned, and I go 3-3 at everything, I go 3-3 scrub out. The amount of XP that I'm going to get from that and playing the armory that I normally do at the store I play at, I'm going to come up just shy for top 190 day. So we ended up running some more on-demand stuff with our group. We started going to a second armory because one of my friends that I used to play Magic with and hang out and play Commander with all the time opened up a store. Webway Games, go check them out. Fantastic store, great community there. We just finally started getting armory kits in, and so now we're running events like actually there, not just, let's hang out and stuff.
Let's go.
So we bumped up our numbers of the amount of XP that we're getting per week. And then we said, okay, given the amount of XP we're getting, assuming we scrub out of everything, we're going to come up just shy on 90 day based on what people currently have for the top 100. Mm-hmm. Maybe we should go to the Calling. Then Jimmy, his mom calls him like clockwork the next day or something. Hey, I just had one of my flights canceled on me and they gave me like a refund and a credit to a flight. You need to go anywhere? And we're like, I guess. Free tendies.
Okay, so if you were knocked out by these guys, not only were they not planning on going, then they got free flights to kick you out of the tournament.
So I went with the only to get like 16 XP. I was like, I'm just here to get some XP. I don't really care. Then by the end of the ProQuest season, I actually did get my invite. So Joe got first place on a Saturday, and then we all went to another one on Sunday. And then he got first place at that one, but he already had the invite, so it passed down to me, and I was second place. So at that point, we were just playing for fun because it passes down automatically.
Yeah.
We already split the prize and everything, so we were just playing for clout on the camera.
Who won? Who won the clout?
Oh, he got it. I can't win that matchup.
Okay.
With the current iteration I have with the deck, I can't beat the Hyper Loop Chain deck. I've taken one game off of them ever in this season. It is just actually unwinnable without me warping the deck unless they low roll and I high roll them.
Okay.
It's a terrible matchup, but it doesn't matter because we were just playing for fun at that point. So I got my invite from that, and then with not scrubbing out of all the pro quests, I got way more XP than we had planned. So I was already top 100. So I was super just there to have fun. I was like, well, we already paid for the trip.
Oh, here comes.
Let's just go and have fun. So I went there with the low goals of I just want a day 2 of Calling. That's my goal. That's a really easy goal to make. Just go X2, I'll day 2. And if I don't, it's not a big deal. I'll go play the Battle Heart.
I got a spoiler alert for you, dude. You day 2'd.
Yeah, I was like, well, made the goal. I had 3 goals for the weekend. The first goal, I wanted to play Tyler Horsepool in the mirror. I wanted to take the crown from him. Did not get my mirror. I sat next to him on stream once, and then I never saw him again.
That's a lofty goal, dude. Oop, I'm hearing
there's my single tier. The other tier is my tunic counter, which adds up to 2, which was the number on my tunic.
Leading.
2 was make day 2. Got that. 3 was get a game on stream, and then win the game on stream and throw the camera a Gotham. You know what a Gotham is?
No, but I hope I'm about to find out.
It's one of these right here. Got him.
Oh my
God. For those of you that are uncultured, it's a juvenile, childish game, which, in case you can't tell, 2 words that perfectly describe me, from like the 90s, where you get one of your friends to look at you making a circle with your finger and your thumb below your waistline. You trick him into looking at it, and then you get to punch him. There's no punching, but it's still the meme. So if you ever look at my top, if you ever look at any of my top 8 photos for anything, I sneak a Gotham into every picture.
Just to be clear, you weren't gonna punch the Star City Games camera people.
No.
Okay. Well, dude. Okay, I've decided. By the way, I'm calling this interview the most interesting man in the world, because this is just insane. So you have this awesome, you don't even plan on going to Indy. You have this ridiculous run at Indy. Let's fast forward to the game. The game. What, bro? You're having
the finals?
Yeah, are you having too much fun? Are you memeing too much? Or do these things just happen?
I was toast at, so like, I've never played a tournament that long before, so I just was not
so much
ready
FaB,
for that.
bro. It's so much
FaB. I went into the day already, like round 8, I was running on fumes.
Really?
By the end of that day, I was completely fatigued. I am surprised I even got through that, because I was missing triggers all day. I was not playing well day 2.
Okay.
That's on me for not being practiced enough and for playing that long. But like, that's something that is really hard to practice.
Yeah.
Like, you just need to go to more of these things, and I've never had the opportunity to do that. So
yeah, and you're on camera game after game. It's something you definitely have to build up a resiliency to. And I always suggest, like, I'm kind of a giant person, so it's hard for me. I try to do, like, if I ever start feeling that way, like in between like 10 push-ups and like 20 squats or something, you just get the blood flowing. But then, man,
it's a good idea.
But you look ridiculous. Everyone's like, what is happening with that guy? It's ridiculous. So, but you had this game, and it doesn't quite go your way, but I've never seen a more awesome member of the community. The way you act right now, and the way you've been talking about acting throughout the entire event, being friendly, having fun, playing the game for fun, and then the way you act after what a lot of people would consider a tough loss, right? In a pivotal moment, you're just this positive, bubbly, you know what? This is what it is. This is life.
I already felt like I won when I got to beat Matt Rogers in top 8, and it is a tragedy that was not on stream.
I would have liked to see that. USA. Sorry.
I got him against Matt Rogers too.
Did you?
Yeah. And so end of the game, he's I'm ahead. So he starts the game by saying, "Please don't high roll me." He's playing Starvo, and he just asked me to not high roll him. I'm like, really, my guy? Really? Okay. Then he opens up the game. Going second, top 4 cards, Rainbow Oaken.
That's so funny. The followed up from the don't high roll me. Like, did you look at him and go,
yes,
I thought we had an agreement here. We talked about this.
And then, so we get to the end of the game.
Sure.
I'm winning on board, and he starts talking to himself out loud, being like, "How do I win this game?" And he's trying to talk through like different lines and stuff. Well, as you can tell, I like to talk. So I start talking through his lines with him of how do you win this game. Like, I could not draw a yellow, you could draw a blizzard. I'm just going through the different lines with him.
You're so
the entire time I have my hand. This is the tragedy why it's not on stream. I've got my hand, and I hold it forward so the camera can see it. Mm-hmm. And the top card is a Merciful Retribution, and I have multiple shields in play, and it's lethal damage as soon as he attacks. And I'm holding a Gotham over the Merciful Retribution, just sitting with that on stream, and just waiting for him to take a game action.
Dude, if that needs to be your logo. your got 'em, the fingers with that's got to be your logo. Sorry, I'm picking myself up in your camera again, but that is just so you miss that game on stream. You have a great time from a
I was
high.
happy after that. I was like, I don't care how I do for the rest of this. I got my trolling in. I don't care.
You win at life at this point, but the real question is now that you've played here, you go from happy-go-lucky, awesome, just member of the community, light, talking while you play, really enjoying yourself, playing for fun, to everybody in the community now looks at you as like, okay, Prism Lord, evaluate my deck, give me my tips, right? So now I got to put you in that seat. I'm going to take you out of happy-go-lucky fun guy seat. I'm going to put you in second place at the calling seat and be like, dude, the meta, we got Starvo bans, we got the meta. I want you to break it down. I want to hear your thoughts on the meta, and then I want to hear your thoughts on the upcoming ban announcement. So what do you think about the current meta, the current Flesh and Blood meta right now, Mr. Number 2 finisher at the most recent calling?
I've played a lot of bad meta games over the years.
Okay.
I've played YuGiOh for a long time, and if anyone plays YuGiOh, they know a bad meta.
I've heard some horror stories from some locals.
Yeah, you got your one deck meta that's a $2,000 deck, and it gatekeeps everything out of the format. Where you, I'm not saying that I like this format. I'm not saying that I like Starvo, but y'all don't know what a bad format's like. This is mildly annoying, and I think that the big issue with it is it goes in opposition of what the rest of the game is, where like this is a very high skill cap game that rewards a player for being really good. And we were talking about this pre-stream, where like a lot of times you'll have a player sit down across from another player, and the better player will win 9 times out of 10 because it is a skill game, not a I drew bad, I got all lands.
Yeah, it's a TCG, so there will be some variance, but FaB does a great job of limiting that variance. And yeah, we talked about this beforehand, where someone could have your Prism list, and you could play against them with almost any deck, and because they can't pilot it like you, they're not the crafter of the deck, it doesn't really help them. You're going to win that game, even your Hyperloop chain matchup, you'll probably take that away, just because it's a skill-expressive game. So because of that,
yeah, like deck picking is so weird in this game because of that. Because like you can look at the deck, but you don't know how they play. You don't know what they're looking to arsenal. You don't know what they're pitch stacking. You don't know what cards matter to them. You don't know if they're blocking early, blocking late, like what they're looking to trade, what they're sculpting, like how they play their turn to turn will vary widely between people. But the Starvo takes a lot of that out of the picture, where it's just look at my hand, I got it, cha-ching, and like you're not playing the game on the same axis that a lot of other people are. So it feels like it takes skill out of the game, where you see so many people that they're just like, I'm brand new to this game. Is this Rainbow Oaken good? And they don't understand fundamentals of the game, which leads to a lot of frustration, where you'll have someone that's really good lose to someone brand new, and they feel like they had no player agency in it. And I think that's the big issue, where there's no sense of player agency, where you're like, I couldn't have done anything about this.
Okay.
I didn't feel like I got to make a decision here that impacted this happening. They got 3 turns in a row of Rainbow Okens. What am I supposed to do about that? I just lose.
Right. So let me ask you another question then, because you're on Starvo, and I want to pick your brain about this. Starvo can be played at a higher level, however, right? You mentioned this new player. I draw rainbow, I slap rainbow. Do I win? Question mark. I've seen a lot of almost all of the day 2 Starvos, and especially the top table Starvos, are playing this more theoretical gameplay. It's not as much, hey, do I have it? Don't I? That my win-loss is based on that. It's this Guardian style of damage preventive, trying to drag their opponent out into the deep end, get this long game going, and
kind of like Michael's list.
At 100%, and then lean on this less of a slot machine, but more of a set of attacks in second cycle to overpower the game.
I really like that list in theory of it's the like Hale McCreath or Michael list, where they're not going for it on the first cycle.
Yep, John Wood ran a similar list.
Like, pitch a lightning, pitch an earth, pitch a ice, arsenal a good guardian card, crown it away, and I come to my second cycle, and there's no randomness every turn, the
Yes.
end of the game. You're out of good cards because we're on the second cycle.
Right.
I really enjoy that style, and I've been trying to get some of my homies that are old Bravo players that used to do that on Bravo, like the 3 blues cripple, 3 blue cripple.
Yep.
I've been trying to push them into doing that because it's the same style, and that is skill expressive. I like that. I think that we will see more of that moving forward, even after the bans.
Agreed. I think that's key in this, that we just note, like, hey, we're not just dunking on Starvo players here. There's a way to play that deck. I casted a ProQuest up in Michigan, and I said there's a way to play Starvo like you're coloring with crayons in a coloring book, and there's a way to play Starvo like he's wearing a monocle and a top hat. And that is the second iteration of Starvo, where you're playing this well thought out game. But you mentioned these bans, right? We'll talk about those.
Well, also, like, don't mistake one thing here. I'm fine with there being easy decks. You need to have accessibility for newer players.
100%.
For them to onboard onto the game. They can't just go in and be like, there's nothing that I can access. Yeah. So you need that. The frustration comes in when that is just actually the best choice. The new player friendly deck is strategically advantaged to the rest of the field. So you're sure you can gain edge by also like being skilled at this game and everything.
100%.
But like it feels bad where you're like, I'm just losing to this newbie deck, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not making decisions that matter against this. They're just going cha-ching, and I lose. And It's not the same as other things like that in the game. And that just leads to feel bads.
Okay.
And that's I think the big issue with a lot of people, where they're not articulating that, but I think that's what the issue is. It's not that it's broken, it's that they feel bad about losing to that type of situation where they, Sure. But we're trying to jump onto bans.
No. I was saying, because you just talked about this high roll style, right? And it does feel bad. It takes away a little of the skill expression that we both have talked about before stream and now on stream that we just love so much. Do you think that with the upcoming banned and restricted announcement, first of all, do you expect to see anything? And second of all, do you, as Mr. Number 2, as Mr. Tunic, do you want to see something? Dude, I'm pausing right now. Every time I tick my Tunic to 2 my entire life, I have always gone 2, Nick. And now you're the king of that. I've been doing this for like a year, and you just ripped it out from under me. And all I can do is bow down. Like, that's it. Yes, you're the king. You win. Anyway.
Now my whole group is saying, when we do it, we're saying 1 Nick, 2 Nick, 3 Nick whenever anyone is playing it.
Let's go. I'm sorry. I didn't mean the tangent. Do you think we'll see anything banned in the upcoming BNR announcement?
Yes.
Ooh, okay.
I kind of have like 2 different answers of this, of like, so I used to do like ban prediction videos back when I did YuGiOh content back in the day.
Which you will be doing again, because you're getting back into Flesh and Blood content, and you can find a link to Pheano's channel in this video's description. Guys, if you haven't subbed there, get over there, click the sub button. What are you doing? Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Easy subs. Let's go.
Let's go.
So I like to go at it with like 2 different things. Like the what do I want to happen or think should happen type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like, what do I actually think is gonna happen based on company behavior and player psychology of like what people are complaining about.
Okay.
I think that Awakening as a card, even outside of Starvo, I said this during Tales.
Okay.
I think Awakening is a problem, and it is a card that they will have to balance around for the entire rest of the game. It's one of those cards where they now need to look at every single Guardian card they ever print and go, is this broken with Awakening? Is this too many numbers on the card and it's broken? And then they immediately printed a card that was too good with it, of Pulverize, of this is so above curve of a 2-card 14. The average value of a card in this game is usually like 3 or so, because everything should be blocking for 3 or attacking for 3 or more.
Yep.
When you play an Awakening, it not counting what you do with the extra floating mana if you pitch a blue, ideally you're getting another 1 point out of that, but let's not go into that. Right. You're pitching a card, you're playing a card, you're getting a card. And if you're grabbing a Pulverize and doing nothing else, just here's a Pulverize, That's 14 for 2 cards. That was an average of 7 per card. That is so significantly above curve that that breaks the fundamental design of the game. That isn't fair. And like, not even getting into Starvo or anything else about that deck. It's the, like, why Drone was broken back in the day. I did not play during then, as I said, but I can understand how that breaks a fundamental system of the game, where the idea of the game is you second cycle stuff, you play to your second cycle, this is a late game thing, and now you're just saying, but what if I just invalidate this part of the game?
Yeah, what if I just say I can go infinite loop or whatever it may be? And I think it also acts as a get out of jail free card. I've always felt Awakening in Starvo. Awakening was not on my radar until you mentioned. Yeah, it just feels almost like a get out of jail free card. If I'm the Starvo player and I start to fall behind, if I'm on any other deck and I start to fall behind, I realize I have to take risks or I have to play a certain line to catch up back in the game. If you're playing the Starvo deck and you fall behind, you think, well, as long as I stay the course, I will hit my catch-up mechanic that is this get out of jail free card that can kind of invalidate.
And it can lead to bad play too, where you feel like you're rewarded for taking damage. Yes. You're like, you know, you look at any other situation where your opponent's, example, your opponent attacks you with a snatch. You're like, block that. I don't want to give you a card.
100%.
And then you're holding Awakening, and you're like, this is fine.
Maybe don't
take damage.
That. Yeah. And take damage for offensive value, for sure.
And so, like, that jumps into the next issue that I have with the card. So, like, I have an issue with Awakening as a balance issue for the core of the game.
Okay.
Not Starvo specific, just
the mechanics of the card. Gotcha.
Because that also leads to a design issue for them as developers, where they now have to look at every Guardian card ever printed. And as a game developer, you don't want that. No. You don't want to have to now look at everything you ever print, and that's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, it's such a headache. But if that's what you think you don't like, do you think it actually will get banned? Do you think they're going to hit it come the 5th? You stand pretty steadfast that
the other issue, which you were kind of getting to, was that it invalidates aggro.
It does.
The existence of it in the metagame pushes almost every aggro deck out of the game, and now you're taking a pillar of, like, aggro control mid-range combo. Take this, trash bin. It doesn't exist.
I got Awakening on Lightning Lexi. I felt like I was like, oh, I'm about to get there. Here it comes, and you just can't come back. It's you get Awakening, and then all of a sudden,
Katsu gone.
There, yeah, and which I would love to see Katsu in the meta. But so you think that we will actually see Awakening on the BNR announcement? Anything else?
I think it's a balance issue, like I said, as a card.
Yep.
I think that it's a problem for invalidating aggro.
Okay.
And importantly, everyone is complaining about it. Because there's two sides. Is it actually a problem? Is the player mass psychology saying, this is the problem, deal with it, or I'm going to be mad? Okay. And so far they've shown when people complain enough, that's what they'll do. Okay. Unless the community is just wrong. And I haven't seen that yet, other than some, like, early complaints people had about Briar, where they were like, this is the problem, but then people stopped complaining about those couple things and moved to, no, Plunder Run's the problem, where they were complaining about other things, and then they no, actually it's this. Like, people were like, Briar should only work on elemental cards, and I was like, that's not the issue. There's plenty of other issues with the card. That's not it.
That Plunder Run ban, the soft ban against Katsu and Lightning Lexi, I did a video on it. I'm like, we took this giant cannon and we aimed it at Briar, and there's just, like, splash damage that hit Lightning Lexi and Katsu, and they're over there like, we didn't do anything. But we talked about, we should do a podcast. We've talked about this. We love chatting about stuff like this, and I feel like we could spend another like 40 minutes on not only the state of the metagame, but the BNR announcement and what is coming and what isn't. Sure. So maybe that's something we talked about before stream. Maybe that's something you guys can look forward to seeing. But let's move on. I want to give you a chance to put on your fun guy hat again.
The only thing I think will happen is maybe an Oaken errata or a Bravo errata.
I don't think the Oaken errata's coming. I
didn't think so until Michael won, and he won without Awakening in the deck. It just straight up wasn't in his deck. So
yeah, but the argument
I
to
didn't think that was gonna happen.
We're down a slippery slope, right? Because the argument to that is, you mentioned, like, hey, I could have won this game. I played it poorly. Like, I I was exhausted. I made these mistakes. I see these mistakes that I made. So the argument is like, was that version of the deck unbeatable, or was it the player? Was it the fatigue and stuff like that? But we're so far down. This is, you and I are gonna spend like
we can jump on another point, but that was like the only other thing I think.
No,
we can move on. We can move on.
Let's make a bet. Let's make a bet. You and me. The other one will guest star on content on the other one's channel. I don't think we'll see an Oaken errata. You think we will. If there's an Oaken errata, I will guest.
Oaken or Starvo errata.
Okay, if there's an Oaken or Starvo errata, I will guest on anything you want on your channel. Guaranteed. And then if the other way, you got to come back over here and chat with me again.
This is an absolute win.
Let's do it. All right, the bet. For anyone that's watched this long in the video, you've seen the bet. Let us know that you saw the bet in the comments section below. I want to give you a chance to put your fun guy hat back on. You're enjoying yourself. We're getting to the end of this. I got 2 like rapid fire questions for you. Give you a chance to shout out. What's your favorite memory in Flesh and Blood? The absolute favorite thing that's ever happened.
Honestly, it's the memes going on. The best. That nothing. It tops actually getting second.
I got dice at my desk. It's the camera's shy. It doesn't want to focus, but I got dice at my desk for you, dude. It wasn't for you. I just know
it tops getting second place.
That is sick.
The memes are gold. It's fantastic. I love it.
Dude, you're just one hell of a dude. That is awesome. If that's your favorite memory, then conversely, that's what I thought you'd give here. What's your worst memory in Fab? What's like the one that you sit up late at night and you got sweats and stuff going on?
Not quite that, but Nationals was some pretty bad beat.
No.
Draft is actually my main format in most games.
Oh, okay. You're a good player. Shout out Mo Bogsley. Yeah.
So, like, I went in feeling very confident about the draft portion. And I do sit down, do my draft, and I leave the draft, and I'm like, this is one of the most gas decks I have ever drafted in my life. No. I showed Joe and Cody it, and I think for a second they thought it was my Blitz deck for a side event. It was the most insane deck.
Let's go, dude.
Round 1, I was playing a Briar. It was mono Earth Briar, and it felt like the only Briar at the table, but I think I was sitting next to another one, and I think they were just grabbing random bullshit. I was just like, this was open. You're also on the deck? Now I'm just confused. Okay. And I sit down. Round 1, I face an Ultim. I go first, and my opening turn was like, Red Bramble Fuse, Embodiment of Lightning, pitch an Earth card that I just revealed to both of these, Stir the Wildwood Red, yep, and then Sword Swing. I put him to 7 turn 1.
Oh my god.
This deck was good.
Yeah, you're playing Draft, or you're playing Blitz.
I then lost that game because I didn't draw an attack action for 5 turns.
Oh,
I was
no.
playing a 50-50 split. This is how the entire weekend went for me. I ran bad every single game. It was the most atrocious thing. I was like, oh my god, why do I play this game? I was like, I'm going to play this game instead of Magic because I don't get mana screwed.
Skill expression, I don't get screwed, and then just slapped by variance, dude. I'm sorry. Well, hey, you've experienced the highest of the highs, and let's call it the lowest of the lows, not drawing any attack actions. And
at least I can laugh about it.
You can. This has been an absolute pleasure. I can't express enough how glad I am to not only have met you, but like have you on, and now you see why. There's no introductions needed before we shoot content. This is the best way to meet, dude. This has been so much fun. Stay on the lookout.
I had a really good time.
Dude,
I'm looking forward to doing more stuff with you too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Stay on the lookout for content. Let's do some stuff. Well, hold on. Get to know me. Then I'm tricking you right now. I'm being nice.
Okay. Once we start rating in Final Fantasy, then I can start judging you.
I'm level 0. I downloaded the game, deleted the game, and have to re-download. My brother's like, "Don't do Steve." That's a whole other story. Do you have any shout-outs you want to give? Give some shout-outs to people, dude.
First of all, I want to shout out to the Hyperloops. They're my homies. I've been hanging out with them a ton over the entire time I've been playing this game. They've all been super nice, super helpful. A bunch of them were trying to help feed me info during the calling about different stuff, and I really appreciate all of you guys. You've been there helping me out. And then the other one, I want to shout out my local group of all the players that I've built up for our local community, the Apes. You guys are great. I love my Ape fam. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Dude, let's go. And you gotta shout out the Count from Sesame Street, right? Like 1, 2. That's it. That's all we got. All right, guys. And until next time, you guys know me. My name is Josh, and I have been here with
Pheano. I remembered this time to do it.
Dude, it was sick. And we're going to practice something. Thank you guys so much. Remember to click the sub button. I'm racing to 4K. I'm almost there. Click that sub. Appreciate you guys so much. We're going to do the standard YouTube dude outro where we go like this and we cover our cameras. Ready? I almost knocked mine over.